Welcome to X1T Gaming, and together we're going to revolutionize the gaming industry. So, as the title suggests, we are actually going to be doing a new game creator, a new platform, simply because I'm having problems with Unity. I think there was like an update in April that now it's not compatible with my computer. I can still work on it and do stuff on Unity, but I can't do build and run, and it won't set it to. So I won't be able to put it onto on Google Play Store or onto iOS in the future. So what's the point of making games if I can't get it out to get it for you guys to play, right? So we decided to look for an other program, and I was looking at some, and then I found out that Blender actually has its own game creation ID, and so I was thought, hey, we're already having to learn Blender anyways for the design, the modeling, so let's do that. So I started looking at Blender, and then I found out that that was an old post, and Blender no longer actually does the game thing anymore. They took it out, and they're focusing strictly on modeling and animation. So that sucked. And yeah, so I kept looking, and then I found that there was another one, and it was actually called Up or UPBGE, and it stands for Up. I don't know what the UP stands for, but it actually stands for Blender Game Engine. So essentially, because Blender is open source, there was someone out there that was kind enough that was frustrated with the program not allowing to have the game editor anymore. So what they did was they made Blender, but they did it as more structured as a game editor. So they kept the game editor that they had before, and they added all the new stuff that made it good. I was watching a video because I'm like, how do you get this game mode? They're just like, yeah, you just put the game mode in this thing, and they're just like, yeah, you just put the game mode, you just press the button, and now you're in game mode, and that's what you want to do. And so I'm like, well, where's this game mode? Like, I can't find it. Like, I'm clearly looking at yours, and mine does not look anywhere near that. Then I found another video that was in January of this year, basically saying that Blender uploaded a new software to make the graphics better and more usable and more user friendly, and they made an aspect that would make the even better for the game editor, but they got rid of the game editor. And so someone made a thing called Up BGE is what we're calling it. I don't know what the Up stands for. I'm on one of their websites right now. I don't even know what they'll say. Yeah, no, I don't know. Oh, they got Discord, so I could probably do that. They got Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Stack Exchange. I need to get a Stack Exchange thing, and maybe a GitHub. I don't have those yet. And Blender Game Engine category. Oh, sweet. So you could actually do it on Steam. So I could upload my stuff to Steam if I'd like. Maybe I'll focus more on Steam, but I don't know how. I'll have to look more into that. I never actually thought about doing for Steam. For some reason, I just thought doing mobile devices, but it might actually be more beneficial for me to do Steam games and to work on that because that's more of the targeted audience that I'm probably going for at the moment are games that you guys play on the computer. I should probably focus more on computer games and mobile games. I wanted to do mobile games just because they're you could put like quick and easy ones. They had what is it? You ever see those like really like crappy but addicting mobile games that are just like ads galore and they're like super simple? So like I wanted to actually just make a whole bunch of mobile games so that I could fund this organization and that I could just build them really fast. But now that I could see that this is connected to um, Steam, that's probably a better option. And then I'll probably try to put more of an effort into some of these games as well, which would be good. Okay, let's see. What does UPBGE stand for? It just says Blender Game Engine. I have no idea what the UP stands for. That's funny. Okay, never used BGE in Blender before, but now Armory or up. Okay, pros or cons. Yeah, they just call it Blender Game Engine. Yeah, so I'm looking at some of the stuff. People saw that the game engine was going to be getting destroyed. Okay, so some people are saying that this is not a good program, but oh, they're saying BGE and UPBGE are not the same. Uh, yeah, okay, let's look at the top 10 games made with UP. Okay, top 10 games. Okay, we'll look at this ad together. Just for fun, we're going to be looking into it. So the only problem that I have with this program is that it uses Python, unfortunately. And I don't know how to do that. So we're going to have to go through the learning process again. But what I am excited about is that I was going to be using Blender anyways for like 3D modeling. But now it's just going to be a lot easier to transfer over because it's going to be like the same program. And when you look at UB, like you'll see, it looks exactly like Blender. Like there's like no difference whatsoever. The only difference is that I could go up to here, and then you go to the Logic Bricks editor, and this is what your game needs to be able to do stuff. Um, is what I heard. So you connect stuff like this. So you go keyboard, and then you do the key left click, and then this one you're going to add a controller, and so they gotta connect like this. And then here you're going to add, what was it, constraint, no, probably like a motion. And so left will go on the x-axis like -3 degrees. Okay, then we connect this to here. So I looked a little bit into it. So you do this, and then you press the P button. They also said that you can go here and extend the shot, and then I press the left button. As you see, it moves. And to get out of it, you press the escape key. So then you just you close these up, and you just keep on adding sensors. So we'll do keyboard, and then keyboard. And another thing that they said was that you could probably just drag straight across to this thing. So we'll make this one like a right click arrow, add another motion. This one will be positive. Was it, what did we do here? We did 30. So we'll make this one positive 30. Positive 0.3, and then we just connect them, and then it should automatically do this right here. So we'll just close all of these. Bring this one up a little bit. Okay, so that's interesting. I kind of want to have like a scrolling thing up and down. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's just, I don't know why if I use the mouse key doesn't scroll. So activate. Okay, so I have to click the button. Yeah, so I click the button, and then this one will do the up arrow key. We'll add another one, and then this one will be on the y-axis. So go up by 30, and then we want to connect them. Get all those things, and then this last one, we're going to go down, and then this one, if you do a motion, then we go negative 30. Connect. I wonder if we connect it the other way, if that will work. Yeah, it looks like it works too. And there you have it. So now if I go and I press the P button on my keyboard, it should pop up, and now as you see, this whole thing moves. And so now I got my game object to move, and if you just need to click on those things to be able to do so, as you see, these are the cube. If I want to go and add a, let's see, mesh, this is a mesh probably, mesh, let's do Toros. See, now that I click on it, it has different things. I wonder if I could like copy, or if I have to keep doing everything like. So you got sensors you could add. So this is interesting. So it looks like it's fairly straightforward. Like that's like a lot more straightforward than Unity right now, because it's like, oh, I press this button and I want it to do this for this object. That is pretty simple. That's actually pretty nice. I don't know if it has gravity objects. If we have to put that in ourselves. Yeah, so we're going to have to play around with it. We're going to learn it. And I don't think that there's that much stuff out there. So here's some games that they created through this program. So Yo Frankie, I have no idea what this is. Dead Cyborg, nope. I honestly I don't think I play enough games. Fly in the House, somewhere on Zebulon. Okay, what is this? What does that stand for? I feel like it's your something. Soul is mine or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that abbreviation is for. Let's click on it. Yeah. I wonder if they just made that game and then that's it. Tomato Jones, Dongo Adventure, Bumper, Crumb, Battle Arena, and Future's End. So that's actually kind of interesting, having the 3D first-person shooter. So apparently there's a lot of stuff that you can do on this stuff, as it looks like, which is pretty exciting. A lot of this graphics, like you see, it's good. It's probably all built in the Blender. They might have easier ways to do stuff like that. And yeah, so it's just a nice game engine that I think is kind of nice to just see. Is it, if I go with this access, let's see. So, oh no, I have to do the camera. I have to change the camera, because it's just going to go on the camera mode if I press P. Oh, yeah. So it just does that. And let's get out of here. Yeah, there's ways to see the camera face. But yeah, so that's probably like the first tutorial, just doing this, and then I'm going to have to look more up more stuff on actually how to use the program to for so this is scripting and it uses Python. So I heard that Python is actually a little bit easier to learn, so that's exciting. But I also heard that it's like a slower processor, so like C++, it's able to like render the thing like 10 times faster or some no, it was like 25 times faster. Um so Python just takes a lot of stuff, and not that many people use Python, so it's going to be a little bit for game development. So it's going to be harder to kind of like try to figure out. But that would be the fun part. Like we could actually make our name for ourselves actually using um, Python. I think I want to look up one last thing. What are the top 10 games um, made by Python? So top 10 games made with Python, or made in Python, probably better. List of Python software. Wikipedia. If it's on Wikipedia, you know it must be true. Okay, so video games. Battlefield 2. Okay. Bridge Commander, Disney's Toontown Online, Doki Doki, Eve Online, Frets on the Fire, Mountain Blade, Pirates of the Caribbean Online. The Sims 4 uses Python. Interesting. So I know The Sims, but I guess they say Sims 4, maybe that specifically. I've never actually played Sims 4. I stopped when it got to Sims 3, or was it 2? Because like I remember, when they first came out, like it was like the best game ever, and then they had like all these versions, and like my uncle was like crazy over all these versions, and so I'd go over there and I'd play it all the time because my uncle loved the architecture design, so he liked to use cheat codes to like build these really nice houses, and he wanted the um the other versions because it added more decor. So he had more stuff to work with. So he wanted to make these elaborate like mansions for everyone to kind of like live in. Um, and just set it up however he wanted. So it was kind of fun that I went to play. So I played like Sims Dating and then Sims this and Sims that. But once it got to Sims Dating, he kind of like he stopped buying them. So I stopped really playing. So I think we skipped Sims 2 because he was done after all those stuff because it wasn't the game that he wanted to play anymore because he wasn't focused on the people, he was focused on the architecture design side of it. And the Sims, I believe, went more focused on the actual characters themselves, and they went down that route. And so then I played Sims 3, and I didn't play any updates for that. I bought Sims 3, I played it, I thought it was good. But now I look at it and it says Sims 4 uses Python. So I'm assuming the other ones do not. Yeah, but they have like a lot of frameworks. Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. But knowing that they could do the Sims 4, and then Battlefield 2, like those are so like here Battlefield 2, you got the first person shooter. They're so different in this gameplay. World of Tanks, that's interesting. First person space trading and combat simulator. Um, what is this? Yeah. So, but simply being able to do that, it's very interesting. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm going to have to go and learn tutorials for this text. I have absolutely no idea how Python works in the slightest. I don't know how it goes, but I heard that it's easier to read, so that will be good. And if it does get to be as easy as doing this thing, I don't think it's gonna be that easy, but like doing stuff like that is probably just the Blender side of things to make it easy. Um, yeah, this could be actually really fun, and because we're in this thing for molding and sculpting, we could actually spend more time on the design of how things look. So this is the camera. If I press, yeah, so that's on the camera view. I wonder how, yeah, I'll have to play with it. The guy that I was looking at when I was doing the, oops, we just want the camera. Yeah, we don't want that. Boom, right back in there. Yeah, so we can play with the camera angles too. Um, yeah, and then the lighting is more textured. So one of the things that they say when you press this P button, you actually see the rendered version. Oh, you can't even see my mouse right now. But yeah, you actually see the rendered quality. I wonder why it's disappearing. Oh, I guess it's going dark to the lighting. So if you look, you really have to. It really focuses on the lighting as well. So I'm going to have the coding aspect might be easier, but the actual setting up everything is probably going to be harder. But you could do a lot of stuff with it. So yeah, no, this is going to be exciting. I'm excited for this. Hopefully, this is going to work, and I'm going to start to focus on my game ideas to be on Steam rather than mobile games. So I'm going to have to change my thinking a little bit. We're probably going to have to put a hold on Pachinko because the Pachinko I was thinking of having more of like a mobile tablet version. I don't know if it's something people want to go on their phone where or on the computer where you have to like click and move these things. We'll see. But now that I'm going to be thinking about actually doing computer stuff rather than mobile stuff, I'm going to have to come up with different designs, different thought process. So that's going to be good for me for when I move because I could actually probably spend the time to think about what games I'm going to create, what I'm going to do with them, spend a little bit more time when I move, and then I'll be able to start actually working on them. So it's going to be more of a design kind of thing. But yeah, so that's thank you for hearing my rant, Robbie's rant. I spent like literally 2 weeks trying to figure out this Unity problem. It was something with the Android. What was it? The Grindle, the Grinde or grind, something like that. I don't know. There was this sort of I don't know what was going on. Like my game worked perfectly. I finally was able to get the ad to work perfectly, and I got everything else set up. Um, and yeah, it's just super frustrating. I don't even want to use like the Unity um, mediation thing anymore. Because like I could use this program that I have that I'm going to try to learn on to make games, and then if I wanted to add like ads to the games, um, yeah, no, you know, it'd be pretty cool that I might do for some of my games that have like banner ads. So there's going to be like, you know, when you go to like a bus stop and you see like an ad, that'd be cool if I could like, or like on the bus drives by and you see like, oh, um, buy this toothpaste. Like I don't know, it would be cool if I could do like banner ads and put them on those things as they drive by. And I don't know, maybe that I wonder how that works. People have to pay for that space in the game, and so then this way it's kind of like people are so used to it in real life that I don't know. There's ways around it. There's ways to do, but this is going to be a big leap forward. I think a lot of the modeling stuff, which is going to be hard. Um, Like I say, I'm not an artist, so I'm gonna have to really learn how to make designs, work on the computer, and that would be cool. Like I like this as open source. Maybe as we go through the process, maybe I'll be a big person and just make really good games that I'll actually teach people how to make games from this, and maybe there'll be like a new batch of game designers coming up, and that could be a way to influence the industry. So yeah, no. At the end of the day, I want good, affordable games to play, and I don't want to have these. Or like you know what, even if they're garbage games, at least you're not paying like an arm and a leg for a garbage game. And sometimes you just need to play a garbage game to really appreciate the games that you got, because you're just like, wow, this is garbage. There's this. Oh man, I don't know if I want to advertise for it. We had this one game. I'll leave you guys on this. So I have a buddy. My buddy's name is Sheets, and he can like literally play any game from start to finish. And he has this kind of like, I don't know, this moral code or whatnot, like this thing where he's got to finish the game because there's some sort of like aspect like art that people want and appreciate it. So he does his best to play games from beginning to end for whatever games he plays. And for me, growing up, it's like if the game was garbage, I wouldn't even play it. I'd be like, this was a waste of money, get all frustrated. However, there's this one game that he bought, and it was literally the worst game we've ever played in our entire life. And it was for the GameCube, so you didn't think it was going to be so bad. And it was absolutely horrible that he could not even finish it. It's so bad. Um, yeah, and the funny thing is because it was like number two, and so we assumed that there was like a number one, so it had to be, it couldn't be that bad. Like it's not like you have Fable 1 and then there's Fable 2, and Fable 2 was like a horrible game. It was pretty like bad, but at least there's something base that was amazing that they were able to work on, and that people enjoyed it enough that they were able to make a second one. And so we thought that this game was kind of like in a similar aspect where they built off of a first one, and they did a second series. But then I guess I'll tell you guys the game. I don't want to advertise. So I think it's so bad. It's called Anubis 2. And so we thought that it was like there was an Anubis 1, but it was just, and it was built on top of it. But no, it was it was just like a really really bad game. Honestly, it's probably better than like one of the games that I can make right now. Right, so I'm not like that, but the thing is, because we had in our minds that it wasn't the first game, that it was the second game, that it had to have some good aspects to it. But it was just so bad. And then later on, we found out that it wasn't Anubis 2. It was like called like Anubis the Second. Like that was the character's name. Yeah, no. If you guys want like a tough game to play or something like that, the map was just too open. The monsters were a little bit. It was like too difficult and then too easy at the same time. It's like you couldn't. You had to use your range. There was a range attack and there was a melee attack, but you couldn't do the melee attack because you'd get hurt in the process. So you had to use your range attack. But the map was just so vast. It was just like this big desert that you're just running along, and then there's like a monster, and so you shoot him, and then there's another monster, so you shoot him, and it was very like bad graphics. It looked like it was probably someone's first game that they sent out, and I have no problem with it being like a first game. Like now that I think about it, if it was a first game, I think it would be great that someone was able to go all the way to actually put that. Oh no, it wasn't on the GameCube, but it was on the Wii. I think it was on the Wii. Yeah, Anubis the Second was on the Wii, and the only thing that was frustrating is because we thought that it was a second game, not a first game. So we assumed that the basics of it should have been a lot better. Um, yeah, so that's probably why I probably thought it was like the worst game ever. Is because it was supposed to be a second game, and I'm like, wow, these graphics for a second game are horrible. But now that I'm thinking about it, and if it was a first game, that yeah, no, it was actually pretty decent for a first game, and it was very reasonably priced. I think it was like $8, and that's why my friend bought it because like he wanted a new game, and it was really cheap. So we get what we paid for, and that's pretty much what I want the gaming industry to go back to: is that you get what you paid for, not that you pay $80 for whatever and you don't know what it's going to turn out to. So on that note, I'm going to leave. You guys have a good night. We'll be back again tomorrow at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hope you guys had a great Easter.